Zilzal leads all the way to defeat the highly regarded Polish precedent in the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth Stakes at 1 mile. The best U.S. contender is Steinle, back again after finishing second in this race last year. He has shown he can handle some of the Europeans. Watch him burst through along the rail to beat an international field, including Lady in Silver of France and Yankee Affair of the U.S. in the Arlington Million. He drops from longer distances back to a mile today and should be tough. Then there's the well-traveled Simply Majestic, who has raced at 8 different tracks this year, setting or equaling 3 course or track records. This was his last start, a win across town at Calder Racecourse. He'll give Zilzal some company early, and for that reason, I'll take Steinle in the turf.
And there is Zilzal. Been out for a while. Walter Swinburne aboard, and the current odds. Not much change. And Zilzal the favorite at 4-5. Tom Hammond, Zilzal, that's Arabic, and what's that mean?
Well, oddly enough, Dick, it means earthquake in Arabic. It was named, of course, some time ago, but very appropriate to the recent happenings. And Zilzal was actually a gift. He sold at the Keeneland yearling sales for $750,000, then was given as a gift to his current owner, Sheikh Mana Al Maktoum, by his brother-in-law, who is the Crown Prince of Dubai, a $750,000 gift horse, if you will. And he's been the heavy bet choice in England in their legalized bookmaking shops there. He opened up at 4-5 and has been going steadily lower odds ever since. And Nashwan was the star of European racing earlier, but he lost and has been retired, and Zilzal is the darling of the Europeans now. Zilzal, as you see, is not wanting to approach that starting gate, was giving the outriders some resistance there, trying to back away as the horses to begin to load into the starting gate. And In Extremis, number 11, is still acting up a little bit. He's been a problem since the paddock. Greg McCarron's down there with them.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the head of the stretch at Zilzal, and they're having a terrible time getting him to come up here. There's 2 outriders, got him surrounded, and he's on the move now. And now one of the lads are going down, and we've got another one running right by me right now. They're going down to pick him up, and hopefully we won't delay the start too much. Another horse that was having a very difficult time getting on the grass course was In Extremis. Lafitte was really just reared back on him, and he just refused. And Zilzal looks like he might be coming, but they got a long way to go yet. 9.
Zilzal, this is normal for him. He is known as sort of an ornery sort, and the lather, the sweat that you see on him also is normal for him. His trainer, Michael Stout, says it should be no problem. He's been like this in all of his races, and he's won them all. But certainly he has a story today, coming out early and still sweating and being resistant as the horses head to the starting gate. And Greg, when you see a horse sweating that much, it has to take something out of them. I know this is normal for this horse, but it has to somewhat detract from his performance.
I'm a firm believer in that. I know for a fact that every time you have a horse that just washes out this bad, one thing they do is lose a lot of the electrolytes and a lot of their weight, and it's really got to affect them. This horse really has been the exception to the rule to run so well, acting like this. And I'm telling you, as good as he was in the paddock, he was that bad out here.
Well, they have gotten Zilzal onto the turf course, and he will be facing that quick run into the first turn, and he's in the outside 10 post position. You see the lather on his neck from the sweating he has done, expending some nervous energy that may perhaps cost him the victory today. We shall see. And again, for the Europeans, these tight turns on the 7-furlong Gulfstream turf are something new for them. They'll have to negotiate that first one very quickly as they break out of the gate. A disadvantage to be in the outside post positions here, and Zilzal, the favorite, will break from post 10. Past winners, there you see them. 4 champions have come from that list of 5 victors, including Miesque, the French filly, who won in '87 and in 1988. Number 8 is Green Line Express, who also with Zilzal came out early. He goes into the gate without any problem at all. Now the 2 problems, Zilzal, well, into the gate very docilely, and now In Extremis will go in, and will go to Tom Durkin.
Loading up for the Breeders' Cup Mile, Zilzal, with some effort, is in the starting gate now. Little Bull John moving in, and on the outside, it is In Extremis. This race has been dominated by European milers in recent years. Miesque winning the last 2 years running. And this year, a son of Nuryev is the favorite, odds-on Zilzal. They're in the starting gate for the Breeders' Cup Mile. And they're off. Zilzal was off a step slow. Simply Majestic. Cordero hustles him out. Quick call toward the inside. Those two now will vie for the early lead. Green Line Express is now up close early, and he's going to join them. In Extremis will be fanned 4 wide into the turn. Little Bold John is up close early, and toward the inside, Steinlen is saving ground all the way. Highland Springs is in between horses, taking the turn well. Zilzal is far back. He's 3 wide, and now about 7 lengths off the early lead. Most Welcome toward the inside. Sabona's in between horses, and the filly Royal Touch trails as the field makes their way down the backstretch. Simply Majestic taking the lead by a neck. Quick Call is trying to run with him toward the inside. Green Line Express looms boldly just off them on the outside, running in third. Highland Springs now is Asperoni's threading his way through in between horses. Steinlen is pinned down. He's inside now, racing in 5th position. In Extremis is 3 wide as they head for the turn. Sabona is Asperon, only 3 lengths off the lead. Zilzal is drafting in behind horses. He's yet to do his best running. And now Wally Swinburne is asking him. And there goes Zilzal with his run on the outside. He is still 5 lengths off the lead of Simply Majestic, who turns for home. And Cordero goes to the whip. Simply Majestic comes roaring off the turn with the lead by 1.5 lengths. Highland Springs attacks on the outside. Quick Call. Steinlen's in tight. He's looking for racing room toward the inside. Sabona's coming hard. Zilzal unleashing a furious one on the outside. Steinlen, a daring move on the hedge, gets the lead. Sabona, one last lunge. Steinlen gets it in the final strides. Jose Santos brilliantly riding Steinlen here, up close but down inside, and with a daring move as they came down the stretch, Steinlen goes on to victory. High fives all around after the Breeders' Cup Mile.
That was a mirror of the great run by Steinlen down the stretch on the rail. That was the victorious romp in the Arlington Million. Steinlen finds room on the rail, and Wayne Lucas, one of the knocks against Lucas has been he didn't train any successful grass horses. Well, he's got one right there. Steinlen, the '89 Arlington Million winner, comes right back to take the Breeders' Cup here this afternoon. A gem of consistency, this 6-year-old horse, bred in England, ridden today by Jose Santos. Consistent in the money 30 out of 35 times, and Lucas has seen Steinlen win for the 17th time. Oh, so often that turf finish, 8-9 horses separated by only half a length. Jose Santos, the opening on the rail again for you.
Yeah, that's right. I got lucky again.
Were you thinking at all about Chicago and Arlington when it finally saw some daylight?
Not really. I'm looking injured, you know, going in and out. So when he switched the tee, he treated now a little bit, and I passed from there, you know. And I got real lucky, and I have a super core in me too.
It appeared that you were boxed for most of the first 3 quarters of the race, that you might not get free.
Well, I know when the horses, when I got tired, I started split it up, but you know, that's what happened exactly, so we got it.
Any idea where Zilzal was?
Pardon me?
Did you know where Zilzal was? Did you have any feeling of the favorite?
No.
All right, Steinlen knew the way, and Steinlen, by almost 3/4 of a length, is the winner of the Mile Turf, and will return to Gulfstream Park in Hallandale, Florida, after these words from your local
In Florida.
So the Mile Turf won by Steinlen, a brilliant ride. Jose Santos patiently waiting for the opening and then charging hard in the final furlong and a half down the rail to capture the $100,000 or $1 million, I don't think quite as big as some of these folks, $1 million Breeders' Cup Mile Turf run. Sabona was second, and a 90-1 shot. Royal Touch finished third.
Dick, patience was the key word here for Jose Santos. This is Steinlen and Santos right there, number 2, tucked in along behind. Quick Call right there. Watch now, Steinlen Just biding his time was Santos, waiting for the speed in front of him to tire. That's Quick Call on the hedge, and out in front in the blue silks is Angel Cordero on the leader, Simply Majestic. Right now, Santos threads his way between horses. That is a Royal Touch inside him. He moves up alongside Quick Call, now inside Simply Majestic as Simply Majestic begins to tire. Now Steinlen's got a clear path to the finish. Jose Santos goes to the hand ride, and Steinlen, with a little luck getting through on the inside, posts the victory.
We have the right number, but the wrong horse finishing show, so let's correct that right now. Here is the official results for the mile turf. Unofficial, we understand. Steinlen, Sabona, and Most Welcome, the 4-horse, a 90-to-1 shot, takes third unofficially, and we now understand that is official. But first, let's go to Jenny.
And Chris McCarron rallied to second behind Steinlen. No traffic, just maybe a better horse there in front?
Yeah, Steinlen's an awful good horse, and Sabona's a much improved horse. I've been riding him pretty much his whole career, and he's one of my favorite all-time horses to ride. He's a playful son of a gun on the track, and he puts on a little show. In front of the stands, he was bucking as he went up to the gate and got a rise from the crowd, and he went out there and performed his best, and I'm really happy with his effort.
All playful before, but he was all business here, and a good effort from him.
That's the way he is. That's why I like to ride him so much. He's a lot of fun in the parade, and he's all business when he runs.
All right, Sabona, Chris McCarron finishing second. We'll go back to Dick Enberg.
All right, and it is now official, the prices, and Steinlen going off at second best favorite, $5.60 to win, $2.80 to place, and $2.80 to show. Sabona, $5 and $4, and Most Welcome at 90-to-1 picks up $10.60 for the show money. $34.40 is the payoff if you had Steinlen hooked to Sabona 1-2. Tom?
Dick, we're in the winner's circle with Wayne Lucas, who records his 10th Breeders' Cup victory. That's a record, and it looked like an iffy proposition there for a while. Steinlen and a lot of traffic trapped down along the inside.
Frankly, Tom, I thought at the 3/8 pole that we had no chance to get in on the inside, and I was hoping it would open up on the sharp turns, but when it didn't do that, I thought we were hopelessly stopped there, and I knew we had a lot of horse. But Jose's a gutsy rider, and if I never wanted to hug a rider so much as I did him today.
Well, Steinlen has been terrific all year long, has earned over $1 million this year, and had a terrific ride today from Santos to get through along the rail. Dee and Alec Wildenstein from France are here, the owners, along with Daniel Wildenstein of Steinlen, and here to present the trophy is Robert.
They are rhythm adjudicating and Slavic. Can you tell when they're babies what they're going to be? Did you know that these three were going to be here today?
Not really, but you hope for it, you know. As you look at them as babies, and a year later, you hope, well, you'll see them in a situation like this. And I guess we're very lucky and very fortunate to have three of the favorites that we raised and broke right there at Claiborne.
You sort of have to split your rooting interest a bit, don't you?
Well, the goal of Claiborne is a little more a favorite to me than the Black and Cherry of Mr. Phipps. I'll root for him in the Classic.
Well, they'll be rooting a little bit later today as well, of course, because Easy Goer was raised at Claiborne. They knew him from a fast, quick, adorable little colt. I saw him myself at that time. Jenny and Trevor are in the paddock as well.
And we're seeing 2-year-olds here, Trevor. They're just about like 10-year-old children, and a lot of them are coming off of troubled trips. We're going to see some equipment change here, including Shadow Roll, which has been on Grand Canyon for a while. This because he shies a lot, I understand.
You know, he's a big horse. He's a very big horse, and I think he's got tremendous ability. I think he's the best horse in the race this afternoon, Grand Canyon. But he's just like you said, he's a big baby. He doesn't know what's going on out there. He gets to the front, and he kind of says, well, I'm having fun out here, and he just starts pulling himself up. And if he does that this afternoon, he's not going to win. So trainer D. Wayne Lucas is doing everything he can to put his mind on running, and this is one of the things that should help him after this. If he does the same thing today, perhaps it'll be blinkers next time out, but hopefully for them, they won't need to go to blinkers, and he'll finish up in the winner's circle today.
We do have equipment change here. There were blinkers on Robin Dancer, who bore out last time, blinkers on. Don Quixote, blinkers off, because he was ranked last time, and one Trevor that had a lot of trouble last time was Single Dawn. And Dick, this horse coming off of 2 troubled trips last time.
All right, Jack Van Berg, the 2-year-olds, these precocious colts, and it's a kind of tricky business, isn't it? You get all your hopes up when they're 2, and you just hope they're around next year for the Triple Crown.
Well, Dick, there's so many things can happen to your 2-year-olds. They shin buck, they cough, and they get sick, and as you go along, they're just like children. And about the time you get one to one of these races inside, today that it might be just a little heavy. He's a great big horse, and he's so powerful that he might have a little trouble over that racetrack. I hope not, but it could happen today because that thing could be a little slick under there for him.
All right, let's go take a look at the preview of 1990. These will be the Triple Crown horses next year, these outstanding contenders for the 2-year-old juvenile race.
You can make a case for several horses in the juvenile, like Adjudicating, who has put together back-to-back Grade 1 triumphs, the Cowden and Champagne. Or like his stablemate Rhythm, a son of leading sire Mr. Prospector. Adjudicating and Rhythm carried Denny Phipps' colors to a 1-2 finish in the Champagne at 1 mile at Belmont Park. Adjudicating on timeout. Grand Canyon, in the shadow roll, runs greenly, but explodes down the stretch to win by 1.5 lengths, giving him a winning race at today's 1 1/16 distance.
Was Single Dawn. Easy Goer. That's live out in the stable area. It won't be long before he'll answer the test against Sunday Silence in the $3 million Classic. What an athletic horse that Easy Goer is. Here are the odds now currently for the juvenile colts. The entry of Rhythm and Adjudicating at 2-1. Slavic, a lot of
Two-year-old who likes to come from off the pace. He's won 2 of 4 races, and in his only stakes effort was second to his stablemate Adjudicating. 1A is Adjudicating, the second half of the entry. He also likes to come from behind, and though he had already won the Grade 1 Cowden, trainer Shug McGahee said this colt didn't impress him until his last start, a neck victory in the Champagne. Number 2 is Pleasant Tap, a late developing 2-year-old who has made only 3 starts, none longer than 7 furlongs, but he did break his maiden with a stretch running victory in Del Mar's Sunny Slope Stakes, beating Grand Canyon. Number 3, Slavic, was beaten the neck by Adjudicating in the Cowden after a rough trip, then bounced back to trounce a rather weak field by 7 lengths in the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. That race, by the way, at today's 1 1/16 distance. Number 4 is Single Dawn, ridden by Lafitte Pinkai, who has won 3 of the first 5 Breeders' Cup Juveniles. Park. His only stakes wins have been in races restricted to Florida breds at Calder, but he has won around 2 turns and is certainly used to this hot, humid weather. Number 6, Robin Dancer. This horse was purchased for a reported $600,000 on Wednesday of the Won his first 3 starts, then lost his next 3. The name? Well, his sire is Great Dawn. His dam or mother is Tilting Don Quixote. That's the field. Let's go to Greg McCarron.
Well, I tell you, the favorite entry of Rhythm and Adjudicating, I'm telling you, they're just 2 grand-looking horses, and they have class written all over them. They're really acting very, very well. Another thing I'd like to mention is Robin Dancer and the equipment change that we've got on him. He's being equipped with blinkers and a ring bit. The ring bit is a little more severe bit than he had been wearing, and it's supposed to keep him from bearing out. Along with the ring bit, because it is a little more severe, they've also put a tongue tie. The bit itself is kind of jiggles in his mouth, and it makes the horse play with his tongue, which is an adverse effect because it'll make him get the tongue back in his mouth and therefore cut off some of his breathing and not guide so well. So in his last 2 races, he was bearing out terribly, and he might have beaten Go and Go in his last race at Laurel if he wasn't bearing out so badly.
With a cherry of Ogden Phipps, and Rhythm and Adjudicating a solid chance at 2-1 coming up.
And as we come back on this Saturday after...
Powerful entry from the Phipps family waiting for him, though. Adjudicating and Rhythm. They were 1-2 in the recent Champagne Stakes, and they're here to avenge the loss by their stablemate, Easy Goer, who was second in this race last year.
All right, Jim, a look at his picks for the Juvenile. There are 3 races to go after the Juvenile. The Turf, 1.5 miles in the grass for $2 million. And then, of course, the Classic, the showdown between Easy Goer and Sunday Silence. That race for $3 million. Still to come, live coverage on this Saturday afternoon on CBC Sports Weekend. Updating.
To hustle up or drop back could be the difference between victory and defeat, and Chris McCarron on Grand Canyon in post position 10 may have that decision to make. The entry of Rhythm and Adjudicating at 5-2, and Slavic now is the favorite. Slavic expected to run from back and have plenty of speed down the lane, and Grand Canyon supported at 4-1. Well, if you're looking for a hunch bet and you're the former commissioner of the National Football League, Pete Rozelle, how about number 7, Go and Go, or number 9, Appealing Breeze? Mr. and Mrs. Rozelle on their way to Rancho Santa Fe near Del Mar, California, and you get the very appealing breeze out that way. Tom Hammond?
Dick, so far today, just about every race we've seen has chosen a champion. The first 4 all probably choosing a champion in their division. This race could too, although Summer Squall, who is out of this race with an injury, is unbeaten, but perhaps the champion and Derby favorite for 1990 will be chosen in this race today. And Greg McCarron, again, we have horses, many of them going around 2 turns for the first time. Only a few in this field have been the mile and the 16th distance. Many have raced at a mile, and you wouldn't think that extra 16th would make that much difference, but there's something about negotiating 2 turns that has an effect on horses who try it for the first time. What is it?
Well, I'll tell you, going that flat mile around 1 turn, it's really just an extended sprint, and you really go all out almost from the beginning. You get your horse away real good, and then you basically just kind of go the whole trip. Going around the ground, going around 2 turns, you want to get a good position, and your horse is used to going that quick early, and you might have a little trouble just trying to make them rate after that, and that's what these boys are going to have to do going in here.
We saw Jose Santos on Steinlen in the race before this, the Breeders' Cup Mile, have a lot of patience and wait for the hole to open up. Is that difficult to do with a 2-year-old, to get them to relax and move in behind horses waiting for a spot to open?
Well, I'll tell you, that's what we call a dream trip, and it's only a dream if it works. If a horse is willing to rate and can take the dirt in the face, on the grass it's a little easier because you don't have that dirt hitting you back in the face. If a horse is willing to rate and take that dirt, that's the kind of trip you want.
Your brother Chris has been shut out so far today. I know that he was hoping to get a winning ride in, but he's on Grand Canyon here. How does he like this horse?
I tell you, he's a big, good-looking horse, and he got a little bit hot, but it's still hot out here, and he looks raring to go.
Let's take a look at the past winners of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile now. And last year, the big news was the upset that Is It True beat Easy Goer in the 1988 renewal. Success Express, another Lucas horse, won in 87, as did Capote in 86, Tasso in 85, and Chief's Crown won the first one. Now we have a field of 12 2-year-olds going 1 mile and a 16th for a purse of $1 million. Once again, to bring us the call, this time with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, let's go to Tom Durkin.
Grand Canyon, the best of the West, loading into the starting gate now. Adjudicating, the best 2-year-old colt in the East this fall, is now loading in to post position number 11, ridden by 45-year-old veteran Jacinto Vasquez and Julie Crone with long shot Don Quixote. They're in the gates for Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And they're off. Don Quixote comes out at the start, and adjudicating was Pinch Back. Passing is for the first time. There's a battle on early, and there goes Balakove. Balakove now angles over toward the inside. On the outside, Don Quixote is right there. And Robin Dancer is saving ground all the way. And the Irish colt, Go and Go, is up close early. Rhythm saving ground all the way, is fifth toward the inside. Grand Canyon sixth. Shotgun Scott is now racing seventh. Single Dawn is eighth toward the inside. He's steadied round the turn. Adjudicating is now racing ninth, and he's beginning to roll now on the outside. But it's Appealing Breeze. Slavic is second to last on the outside. He's almost 10 lengths off the lead now, and Pleasant Tap is unhurried. He's allowed to trail the field as they continue down the backstretch. Balakove has run the opening quarter in 23 2/5 seconds, a demanding half in 46 4. Go and Go, the Irish colt, and now the Europeans are 1-2, but there goes Rhythm now, and he's sent through a narrow opening toward the inside, entering the far turn, and Rhythm driven through an opening toward the rail, now to take the lead. Balakove is trying to stay with them. Robin Dancer is coming on the far outside. Grand Canyon, and Chris McCarron's confident with him, and here he comes now with his run for the lead. Go and Go is now giving it up. He's dropping back and forth, and now Jose Santos turns Slavic loose, but he's 5 lengths off the lead as they turn for home. Rhythm is set down for the drive. Full out now to hold off the oncoming Grand Canyon. On the outside, Slavic is now third. Balakove fourth. Shotgun Scott is fifth. It's still Rhythm, and Craig Barrett bumping, driving him on. Grand Canyon will not get to him, and Rhythm has won it. Oh, it could be a big day for the Phipps stable. They win the opening race with Dancing Spree. They win the Juvenile, and the big horse is still back in the barn awaiting the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Rhythm, many felt the better of this powerhouse entry with Adjudicating, a Kentucky-bred colt. Ogden Denny Phipps, the owner, and Shug McGahee celebrate again, and they're still looking ahead to Easy Goer's chances in the $3 million Classic. Rhythm, son of the leading juvenile sire, Mr. Prospector, an improving colt, and as expected, made a big run at the finish and was clearly the best. Grand Canyon, second on the tote board, finishes second, and Slavic just didn't have enough to catch the leaders, and troubled start for Slavic, the Kentucky-bred Danzig colt, as it stumbled out of the gate and could not recover. Rhythm, ridden by Craig Perrett. Congratulations to you, Craig.
Oh, thanks.
The strategy of the race going in, did you run your race, or did you have to make some adjustments along the way?
Well, this colt's been advancing a whole lot, and he had inside post, and we just kind of held our position. When I called on him, he did his thing.
Keep going. Keep going, Dick. Did you have your eye on any of the colts in front of you? Were you trying to take aim?
I had the golden trip. I sat down on the inside.
Throw it down to the and he'll do a replay.
I had a good position the whole way. I called on him about the half mile to get me in contention, and he gave me his thing, and he run one big race today.
All right, he deserves a good pat. Maybe you'll have a chance again next year in the big Triple Crown races. Let's go to Tom Hammond and a look at the finish.
He did have a golden trip, did Craig Perrett. He moved inside the early leaders to take the lead down the backstretch. And here you see as they turn for home, Craig Perrett has already taken off a couple of set of goggles. He's down to his final set. Gives the horse a couple of taps right-handed, and Grand Canyon can't get by. Rhythm, who had taken the lead midway down the backside with plenty left. Perrett keeps him about his business with that right-hand whip, but he's not challenged as he comes to the wire to take the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Well, as you saw, the past winners of the Juvenile, we've yet to see one graduate and win one of the Triple Crown races, but perhaps next year's the time, and the horse could be Rhythm.
Update on
720, $380 to place and $260 to show. Grand Canyon pays $5 and $3.40, and Slavic $3, $29.60 is the Perfecta today. So Shug McGahee and Ogden Phipps are off to a great Breeders' Cup day, and it'll be Easy Goer back in about an hour. This is just after 6 o'clock this morning. Charlie Whittingham, traditionally in the morning of a race, he'll gallop his horses a mile or more, and so it was for Sunday Silence. Which one do you like?
And as we cover the Breeders' Cup live from Hallandale, perfect Indian summer weather set the stage for the Rothmans International, Canada's premier grass stakes attraction, which drew the U.S. and Canada into another confrontation for bragging rights, settled in the final furious strides.
They move to the top of the stretch. It's Canada's Charlie Barley. Per Quad is in close pursuit. On the extreme outside, Steady Power and Hodges Bay are closing in. It's Charlie Barley, but Steady Power is charging hard along with Hodges Bay. Steady Power, Hodges Bay, Charlie Barley, Steady Power, and Hodges Bay. Those two, a classic confrontation. Hodges Bay and Steady Power in a photo to win in the Rothmans International.
Dan Loisel with the call. American Hodges Bay closing out the Woodbine season. Today, looking once again for the winner's circle is Hodges Bay in the world's richest turf race at the Breeders' Cup. And of course, Hodges Bay, who won out at Woodbine in October, will run in the next race this afternoon that you'll see live here in Sports Weekend. That is the $2 million turf race from Florida. Earlier today, if you were with us here on Sports Weekend, there was a feature on Secretariat and Ron Turcotte. What they neglected to mention was Secretariat's last race was the International 1973 at Woodbine. I remember it very well. It was a cold, overcast, cloudy day. Secretariat stormed down the home stretch as it was getting dark in the afternoon. Ron Turcotte rode him during the Triple Crown races, but his jockey that day was Eddie Maple. Turcotte was down with a suspension. Ron told me earlier this year that was his greatest disappointment. Ron's watching today in New Brunswick. Ron, we salute you as we go back live to the Breeders' Cup.
The problem, a 3-year-old colt with an 18-letter tongue twister, Yucca Hicka Mikadola. Easy.
Is there, Sing My Tune, and Hicka Maka Rakadakalola, and SW Wild.
Okay, Tom, now let's just take another careful run at it.
To sixth, about 6 lengths off the lead, and then it's Dicka Haka Maka Rakadola. And
well,
Michael's Pride.
Third time, that'll be the charm.
My Tune is now fading, followed by Homeroom Jester, and the trailer is Dola Rolla Rolla Rakadaka Mola Hola.
Yucca Hicka Mikadola, or something close to that, Tom Durkin. We enjoy your brilliant calls, but you're human too. Is that the toughest you ever tried to cough out?
Well, one particularly spiteful owner named a horse, she sells seashells, and I did a little bit better with that one than Yucca Rolla Rolla Rakadaka.
How about the big mile-and-a-half turf race coming up? Any tough ones there?
Not particularly tough. You have to be something of an international linguist for this one. There's a horse with a Latin name, an Italian name. There's a few actual English horses, French, even an Arabic name. So, but I think we can get them straight. A little bit better than I did with the Yucca Rakadaka.
Keep working on it. We'll test you again next year. Great job again today, as always. Well, the order of finish in the race that we have just seen, the favorites were there as expected. Rhythm, Grand Canyon, Slavic, then Shotgun Scott, Single Dawn, Pleasant Tap, Bella Cove, Robin Dancer, Go and Go, Appealing Breeze, Adjudicating, surprisingly finishing next to last. On Coyote finishing last. Well, Gulfstream Park, a mighty pleasant picture to the eye with its lakes and flowers, a beautiful spot to enjoy racing. But beauty is part of this game, and it certainly includes training areas in Europe where the morning ritual is poetically different from what we might find here in the U.S. Newmarket, near Cambridge, is less than 100 miles from London. This is the major center for English thoroughbred training. It's hundreds of pastoral acres, the grounds for developing most of England's top horses. Rolling green countryside, the scene for almost casual morning gallops. Trainers bringing out sets ranging from 20 to 50 horses, using the uphill slopes to build power and stamina. A scene remarkably different from the racetrack morning workouts in America.
The American way of training is so different. I mean, you know, the track work, and I like giving my horses plenty of time. They go out for 2 hours to an hour and a half anyway, every day. And it's a completely different profession, really. English racing and American racing is baseball and cricket, where they both have a ball and a bat, and that's about it, really. Most of our conditioning work is uphill. I mean, in the spring, we do an awful lot of cantering up hills, just to strengthen you. But our courses are rather like things on fairgrounds. I mean, they're up and down dale. I mean, we don't have level courses. You know, most of our courses, you come down hills, and we've only got to look at Epsom. I mean, very different from the tracks in America. That's one reason we don't really do much in the way of timing over here. People keep saying to me, hey, your horse did 5 furlongs in such and such a time. I haven't got a clue whether my horse did 5 furlongs in 10 minutes or 25 seconds. It doesn't interest me because the courses vary so much, and with our weather, the conditions vary so much, and also our races are run at very different speeds. Some races are run very slow and they quicken up, and some go very fast. And in America, I think sort of the fastest part of your race is probably at the beginning and the slowest at the end. I mean, I think in England it's the other way around.
You'll find patience and training here as well. The village of Chantilly, an hour's drive north of Paris. As charming, if not more beautiful as Newmarket, 75% of France's thoroughbreds train here. The national center carved out of ancient forests, straightaway lanes of turf, and sandy strips that demand the building of powerful legs and lungs. The European style, training in this idyllic place, all to an appropriately slower pace.
We don't train on a racetrack like you do in the States. We've got our own facility here. It's, we ship our horses every day to different race courses. We don't have meetings like you have. We only have one in summer in Deauville where we stay there for a month. If not, every day we change race course. So one day we run left, the next day would be a straight race course, the next day would be a right hand. You've got lots of different things to do with the horses here. Our way of training in the morning is not as hard as yours because we don't train on dirt. So the ground is much nicer here, That's why we've got horses who can go a little further than yours. Our horses stay much longer out because it's different. The facility that we've got here are completely different. But I'm sure some American trainers that love to do that, but we're doing that here.
As we watch that Jack Van Berg in Paris and in Newmarket out of Chantilly, I just couldn't believe the beauty, and indeed that they train. The training methods are kinder to the horse. You are limited because most of the training takes place on the race course in the morning.
Most of our horses, Dick, are all stabled at the track, and the track generally opens at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and we have to be off by 9:30 or 10. So the most time that a horse has spent out is either 20 or 30 minutes. That gives them the most time. And I was over in Europe at Newmarket and rode out on sets with Luca Camani, which they call a lot over there. We'd take 60 at a time, and I told him, I said, that is a lot of horses. But they have a beautiful surroundings. They have open gallops out there. They put the new Equitracks over there, so they got the grass, they got the Equitrack, they got everything over there for them. And like our whole racetrack might be on 300-400 acres here, they have that much to gallop over themselves at each one. And
we won't even get into breakfast after those gallops.
I want to tell you, they do have breakfast after each set.
We got to move on here, Jack. Yeah, those croissants in Chantilly were something with Café Olé. There's the beauty in the eyes of the beholder. Maryland artist Michael Garrity recalling his memories of this year's Preakness Sunday Silence, etching Easy Goer. And in the Easy Goer stable, the eyes are on. Easy Goer make their trip to the paddock area. Now the current odds for the 1.5-mile turf race, Ile de Chypre at 8-1. And we have a story on that colt. Lady in Silver, the brilliant French Oaks winner, and second in the Arlington Million at 6-1. Sunshine Forever, good price, 14-1. Prize to beat Sunday Silence this year, 10-1. Caltech at 2-1 is the current favorite. Bahara 5-1, and El Senor, some solid backing the Big Gray at 7-2. Now the mystery horse, the Ile de Chypre, something out of a Dick Francis novel, huh?
Recently, a rumor that in one of his previous races, well, Sharon, a little bizarre story. They accused someone of hitting him with sonic waves.
Well, it's a kind of a complicated story. Royal Ascot of last year, June of '88, Ile de Chypre was leading an important stake by 3 or 4 lengths, just a few jumps from the finish line, when suddenly he took a left turn. Threw his rider, galloped off by himself. Now, he is a bit of a difficult horse. Didn't surprise a lot of people when this happened. Well, lo and behold, there's a court trial going on in England right now where the defense attorney is claiming that Ile de Chypre was hit by an ultrasonic sound wave of some kind disguised in a pair of binoculars designed to throw him out of the lead. He was favored, of course, and lose the race for him. Now, a lot of observers say this is absolute nonsense, but on the other hand, something did happen to that horse. That's all past. Il de Chypre is here and presumably a little more sensible these days.
But he does have a reputation of being a little balky when he gets out in front by himself, and there's reason to believe the turns here, the tight turns, will keep him busy, so that if he is balky, and that is just a rumor that he was hit by a sonic gun, maybe the turns will keep Il de Chypre's mind on his business, and he could upset at 9-1 right now, Sharon.
And of course, a lot of people are paying attention to Behera as well. She's a wonderful-looking little mare. Trevor is in the paddock as well.
Well, I'm here with a Cinderella story. We're with the owners of Caltech. Just 5 months ago, you could have claimed Caltech for $25,000. Right now, he's the 5-2 favorite to win this $2 million Breeders' Cup race. We have a whole bunch of owners here with us. We've elected a spokesman. Let's take it over to Bradford Bailey.
Trevor, we always knew we had a quality horse. It was just a question of getting him healthy and getting him on the grass. When he got hurt as a 2-year-old, he was just ready to make his first start on the grass. He got hurt. We lost him for 9 months. He came back. We had to take it slow and easy on the dirt first at Hialeah. And then finally, we got a chance to run him on the grass on June 4th, and it's been a Cinderella story since. We know he's going to win today.
He's a local horse. It's going to have a lot of local support in here. What about going to the last one in Maryland as well? Did you expect to win that easily, or did you expect to win it all?
Not easily, but we certainly did expect to win. And when he took the lead and he held the fractions down to 115 and then a mile and 142, we knew he was going to win.
How do you hope the race sits up today?
Well, there's not going to be, it doesn't appear from the program there's going to be a lot of speed in the race. We're hoping that he can do his thing, which means go out easy, get on the lead, and let them look at his rear.
Well, you've got a fine rider in Renee Douglas. Now let's take it to Dick.
Caltech with a lot of early speed and the current favorite at 5-2. A mile and a half for $2 million, and here are the horses to watch.
As always, the turf is wide open. The 3-year-old Caltech is a Cinderella story. He was a $25,000 claimer on dirt. On turf, he's been a tiger, winning 5 of 6 and beating America's reigning turf king, Yankee Affair, here in the Budweiser International, carrying his speed 1.25 miles. Another 3-year-old in the field is Prized, who races on grass for the first time today. His claim to fame came this summer in the Swamp Stakes at Hollywood Park. That's Sunday Silence in front, making his first start since the Belmont Stakes. But here comes Prized, catching horse and rider loafing a bit, and Prized will nail Sunday Silence at the wire by nearly a length. In Europe, it's not unusual for 3-year-old fillies like Behera to challenge older males, which is just what she did in Europe's richest race, the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, over 1.5 miles. Behera survived a rough trip to just get up for second, though she couldn't catch the winner, Carroll House. Earlier in the year, it appeared that El Senor might be America's top grass horse, at least over a distance of ground. Watch the gray horse. This was an impressive win as he wore down the leaders to take the 1.5 mile Sword Dancer handicap in New York. The course was hard that day, as it has been lately at Gulfstream, and El Senor liked it as he got up to win. For my money, though, I like the only speed in the race. I'll take Caltech today.
And the local favorite, Caltech, still the favorite at 3-1 in what appears to be a wide open race. Here now in the post parade is Tom Hammond.
The $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf is sponsored by Budweiser. Number 1 is Il de Chypre. His name means Island of Cyprus. This horse is a bit of a rogue, as you've been hearing. He refused at first to go on the track for a workout yesterday, but he is a Group 1 winner who likes to go to the front. Number 2 is Scenic, owned by Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum of Dubai, who along with his 3 brothers have spent over $1 billion in the international thoroughbred business the last 10 years. They dominate European racing. Scenic is not one of their best runners. He does have only 1 victory this year. By the way, jockey Michael Hills is the son of this horse's trainer. Number 3, Hodges Bay, a former claimer and allowance horse who was a 10-1 winner of the Rothmans International in Canada a couple of weeks ago. His last 2 races have been good efforts at today's distance. Number 4, Lady in Silver, owned by the Morven stud of John Kluge, said to be America's richest man with an estimated worth of $5.2 billion. He purchased Lady in Silver this past August after she had won the French Oaks and before she finished second in the Arlington Million, her only U.S. start. Number 5, Sunshine Forever. What a difference a year makes. In 1988, despite a second-place finish in this race, Sunshine Forever was named champion male grass horse. Last year, his campaign netted him 8 wins and $2 million. This year, no wins, earnings of $45,000. Number 6 is Prized. How often do you see a horse try the turf for the first time in a $2 million race? That's the case with this millionaire 3-year-old who beat Sunday Silence in the Swap Stakes, lost to Easy Goer in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Number 7, Star Lift, a consistent, if not brilliant, French Stakes winner. Threw in a bad race last time out, though, setting the early fractions, then fading to 19th and last in the Arc de Triomphe. Number 8, Caltech. You just never know about some horses. This 3-year-old looked like a pretty decent $25,000 claimer until he was tried on the grass. Since, he's been clipping the daisies. He has won 5 of 6, $600,000. Likes to go to the front, and he has a 4-race winning streak, including the prestigious Budweiser International. Number 9, Sierra Roberta, trained in France by Andre Fabre, who is licensed to practice law but prefers practicing horses. This 3-year-old filly comes from way back, finished well to be 5th in the Arc de Triomphe. Number 10 is Behera, another French-trained 3-year-old filly. She's owned by the Aga Khan, the spiritual leader of the Ismaili Muslims. This filly has a chance to win today. She was a fast-closing second in the Arc de Triomphe, despite being impeded in mid-stretch. Number 11, El Senor, named for Hall of Fame trainer Senor Horatio Luro, owned by his wife Frances and trained by his grandson William Wright. Don't tell anyone, but El Senor was number 13 on the list of names Frances submitted for this horse. He was 6th in this race last year, but is capable of better in 1989. We have 3 horses in the mutual field. Number 12 is Green Barb. Green Barb is owned by Alan Paulson, who once set a world's record by piloting a plane westbound around the world in less than 45.5 hours. This horse can't fly, but likes to stay close to the pace and has won at 1.5 miles. Number 13, Pleasant Variety, a definite router. You just can't go too far for him, but he's won only 3 times in 26 races on grass. Number 14 in our field for the Breeders' Cup Turf, and that $2 million purse will be Malicious. Malicious is owned by Virginia Kraft Payson, who used to be a writer for Sports Illustrated. What a story it would be if this horse could pull the upset. He's won only 3 races the last 2 years. And that is the field for the $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf. Greg.
I'm out here on the racetrack, and I've just been watching El Senor. He's the only gray horse in the field, and it's going to be kind of nice to watch him because he's a horse that comes from way back, and you might see him coming through the lane. I have a little bit more to add to El Sheep because I was out here the other morning, the day they were schooling him in the gate, and after they schooled him in the gate, he was supposed to gallop once around. I was standing down by the 3/8 pole, and he made the gap down there, so he seems to have this habit of ducking in and ducking out. And the boy tried to get him back on the racetrack. He just couldn't do it.
So El Senor now at 7-2, the co-favorite in this $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf at 1.5 miles. The early rain probably not a factor. Didn't rain hard enough to soften the dirt course. It'll be fast.
It'll be fast.
For the Breeders' Cup Turf, it goes at 1.5 miles on the lawn around 3 turns. And this is by far the best betting race on the card this afternoon. Unfortunately, it's the toughest one to pick. From France, we have the 3-year-old filly, Lady in Silver. She came to America earlier this year to run in the Arlington Million and finished a bang-up second. She should be awfully tough. As for the American hopes, El Senor is a great late runner, but he's often victimized by a slow early pace. As for some of the others, there's another good French filly in here called Behera, who was second last time in the Arc de Triomphe. It should be a great contest.
And again, Jim's picks. He's been in the money 7 of 15 times today. Hodges Bay is in this race. I mentioned he won the Rothmans International this year. Also in the race is El Senor, who was second in the Rothmans 1 year ago to infamy. Also in the Rothmans last year is Mrs. Payson's Malicious. Updating University football this afternoon.
The 6th race of the Breeders' Cup, the Breeders' Cup Turf, is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean.
Breeders' Cup Turf is next at the classic European distance of 1.5 miles. Gulfstream Park, a 7/8 of a mile circuit. Test of endurance and class begins at approximately mid-back stretch, continues around the far turn to the wire, and then once around again to the finish. At 1.5 miles, post position becomes relatively insignificant. What is important, thoroughbred stamina, a rider's ability to induce his mount to relax in the early running and then to time his move for the best possible result. And out on the backside, Easy Goer out of the stalls. Early preps as Easy Goer and Sunday Silence getting ready to make the trip over toward the main track. Let's look at the current odds in the 1.5 mile turf. Oh, a lot of late betting on Ile de Sheep, which means the Isle of Cyprus in Arabic. 6-1 on the number 1 horse. 6-1 Lady in Silver, the filly, prized at 8-1. Sunshine Forever, surprisingly, 17-1. Caltech at 4-1. Now the second pick, actually Bahar and El Senor, both at 7-2, being favored at the moment. Tom?
Dick, this race is 1.5 miles, so you don't really think much about speed when you think of a 1.5 mile race. But actually, speed could play a big part in the outcome of this $2 million race with $900,000 going to the winner. In fact, Caltech was a wire-to-wire winner of a 1.5 mile race, the Budweiser International, in his last start. And he appears to be the only real speed in here other than Ile de Chypre, who has been on the front in his races in Europe and could show speed here today. But the European speed is usually not the same as what we normally see in America. This has been traditionally the closest race of them all on Breeders' Cup Day. In 5 runnings, this race has never been decided by more than a neck margin of victory. 4 of the 5 previous winners have produced champions, and the European horses have been favored 3 times. Lash Carey from Europe did win the first one, as did the magnificent filly Pebbles in '85. America's grass horse Manila and Theatrical, and of course Greg, as we look at this race, and we know that Ile de Chypre is a bit of a rogue. You mentioned him ducking out the gap in a workout the other day. He appears to have a little speed, as does Caltech. Rene Douglas riding Caltech. Does he want to make sure he gets to the inside of this other horse, though he's outside in the starting gate, to somehow be protected in case the other horse does try to bear out?
Tom, I'm not sure the horse will do anything as long as he's alongside another horse. When he's with another horse, he appears to be all right. It's only when he's all by himself. So I think Rene Douglas will try to go for the lead, and if he happens to be just hooked in with that horse, I don't think it's going to make any difference.
In America, we don't have very many races at the 1.5 mile distance. As you see, a little help being given to Scenic to load into the starting gate there as the assistant starters sort of get a hold on him and push him into the gate. Is there a different riding strategy? Do you ride a 1.5 mile race any differently than you would in one of the shorter races, even at 1.8 miles, say?
Boy, you should do. I guess patience is the key in this kind of race. It's probably the most fun race to ride in, can be the most frustrating race. You'll see in a big field like this, the whole field will gang up down around that second turn. There'll be a lot of jockeying inside and people looking to get out, and as soon as one gets out, one will take his place. And then, you know, I mean, there'll be 4 or 5 people turning for home, all bunched up, and it should be a great run to the wire.
Sunday Silence about to begin his trip over for the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, the next race on the Breeders' Cup card. Right now, though, the $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf. 3-year-olds and up at 1.5 miles on the grass. They continue to load in. Star Lift behind the gate, now going in with Gary Stevens up. The course record for 1.5 miles on the grass, 2:24.4, dating back to Groveline in 1977. Next to load in Sierra Roberta, and they'll have only 3 behind the gate to load. So we'll go now to the man who will bring you the call to the Breeders' Cup Turf. Let's go to Tom Durkin.
Just 2 horses behind the gate. Hira is a troubled second in Europe's most prestigious race, the Arc de Triomphe. And El Senor, who in the Lash Flash of the tote board has been established as the favorite for this 6th Breeders' Cup Turf. Caltech is in the gate, a former claimer and a local favorite here in South Florida. Sierra Roberta also in line, ridden by Pat Ettery, who rode Pebbles to victory in the 1985 Breeders' Cup Turf. Now just 1 behind, and that is the long striding, late running El Senor, named after one of the great names in turf history, Senor Horatio Leroux. 14 in line for the Breeders' Cup Turf, and they're off. And Caltech Caltech breaks alertly. Prized is out there and toward the inside. Il de Chypre eager to run on the lead, and Green Barb is coming after him early. So they settle down the backstretch. Il de Chypre now. Tony Clark trying to throttle his early speed. Caltech sitting just off him on the outside. Green Barb now is settled in third position. There's a gap of 4, and Prized is now fourth on the outside. Scenic is saving ground early. Lady in Silver is tucked in behind them. Starlift 3 wide round the turn. Last year's turf champion Sunshine Forever now is about 8 lengths off the lead, now racing in 8th position. Then it's Sierra Roberto, followed by Bahira. Pleasant Variety is saving ground all the way. El Senor is racing about 12 lengths off the early lead. He has 2 horses beaten, and they are long shots Melicius and Hodges Bay, who's down inside. Passing us for the first time, it's still a headstrong Il de Chypre, and on the outside Caltech, who's under a firm hold. They're moving easily. The pace is slow, 48 3/5 seconds. Now they have one more turn around the course here at Gulfstream Park. Il de Chypre still bounding along on an easy lead. Caltech's been prompting him throughout with only mild pressure. Prize is poised just off them on the outside. Green Barb has been saving ground throughout. On the outside, Starlift with clear running in 5th position now. Scenic is within striking distance. He's 5 lengths off the lead, but he's in behind horses. Lady in Silver still saving ground toward the rail. Bahiro clear of trouble on the outside now. And Sunshine Forever as Asper run. Then it's Sierra Roberta, El Senor, Herb McCauley still patient with him. He's about 11 lengths off the lead. Il de Chypre still leads. 3/4 in 13 2. A half mile to run on the turf. Il de Chypre is still there. Caltech is now roused, and Rene Douglas asking him for run now. Green Barb is third. Prized is full out. He's dropping back and forth. Scenic is nowhere to go in between horses. Sierra Roberto and Starlift is kicking in on the outside. Lady in Silver toward the rail. Melicius is picking up momentum. El Senor is still 9 lengths off the lead, and he's beginning to move from the back of the pack. And Caltech forges to the front as they turn for home. Il de Chypre is put to a full-out drive to try to stay with them. Prized on the outside is now third. Sierra Roberta is coming with her run now, and here she comes. Caltech desperately holding on. Prized is surging. Sierra Roberta toward the inside. Bahira late run, a driving finish in the turf, and here's the wire, and it is Prized. A desperate nose, very close. Sierra Roberta was right there. Oh, it is very close, but it looked like Prize from my angle here, and what an absolutely remarkable victory. His first race ever on the grass, and he wins the $2 million turf.
Obviously loved the distance, and as the Clover Racing Stable and Meadowbrook Farms predicted, and trainer Neil Drysdale would respond well to the lengthy 1.5 miles on the turf. This is the 3-year-old colt that upset Sunday Silence in the Swap Stakes at Hollywood Park on the dirt, offered a warning then on the West Coast, and apparently from our angle, the 6-horse Prized is the winner. And what a ride by Eddie Delahousse, regarded as one of the very best in the business, especially riding a horse and coming off the pace, laid off the lead. And Eddie Delahousse apparently has a big $2 million win today aboard Prized.
Talk to him.
Eddie, congratulations. A terrific run.
Thank you.
Give us your feelings as you rated your horse with about a couple of furlongs to go. What were your thoughts?
Well, he rated kind all the way, and last 1/4 mile he was really digging in, and I knew if we could stand off any late charges, we'd be all right, and I think we got up. I guess you guys can see better than me.
So you don't know yet whether you won it or not?
I thought I won it, and I hope I won it, but I know it's very close.
Well, let's take another look from our angle here, looking right down on the finish line. Delahousse urging Prize to the wire. Sierra Roberta on the inside, and Pat Ettery. And it's unofficial, but from our angles, it appears you just got your horse's nose in front.
Here it is again.
And here it is again. We'll freeze it, and it does appear that you got a whisker on the line first, Eddie. What kind of a colt is this Prize?
Well, it's first time on the grass, and he proved himself today. Running the first time on the grass, and he's bred for it. And Neil Drysdale, I got to give him all the credit. He's decided to skip running against Easy Goer and Sunday Silence. He said this horse should be a better grass horse than a dirt horse. And I got to give him all the credit.
Well, you almost wonder now, Eddie D, whether or not he should be in the Breeders' Cup Classic and going against the big two of Easy Goer and Sunday Silence. So Eddie De La Houssaye and Prized have surprised here at Gulfstream Park on Sharon Smith.
Well, Neil Drysdale's the trainer who accomplished this extraordinary feat. First start on the turf, and he wins this.
Well, we've been working him on the grass since the Jockey Club Gold Cup, where he couldn't handle the track. It was too deep for him. So he'd been working alongside Political Ambition and Sabona. Of course, Sabona was second in the last race, which would have given everybody a pretty good idea of how this horse was going to run. And unfortunately, we couldn't run Political Ambition because he bruised his foot. But working very well. We were delighted. I thought I was going to be the bridesmaid all day long, 2 seconds, but finally we got it done.
Well, what an extraordinary year this has been for 3-year-olds, because don't forget, Prized is a 3-year-old as well.
Well, he was bred to run well on grass, sired by Chris S. Loved the distance, did Prized, and at 1.25 miles, the American Classic distance, will Easy Goer love this track in Florida on this late afternoon. Sunday Silence presents the challenge, and the one study of Easy Goer has not run as well when the track becomes heavier, although running in the east in New York, it would appear that this is about the style, Jack Van Berg, the kind of track that Easy Goer might really take to.
Well, he's a big horse, Dick. He's a great big horse. He's a very powerful horse, and he has to have something he can get a hold of, and I just hope it is not slick. We've had that rain earlier, and it was the first race, the sprint race, was a little on the damp side. It's straightened out a lot, and I hope with the new surface it's got enough sand in it to hold it.
Well, let's go get a touch of the prize for the Prized.
Dick in the winner's circle with Barbara LaCroix of Meadowbrook Farms and with Barry Irwin of Clover Racing Stables, the owners of Prized. And Barbara, did you ever have any doubts about his ability on turf, his first start on the grass?
None whatsoever. He loved it was a baby. And he's a Floridian, so
that's right.
He loves the Florida turf.
A victory
too.
for the home team here today. And Barry, do you wish you'd maybe gone in the Classic now that this horse has run so good against Easy Goer and Sunday Silence? You faced them both this year and you beat Sunday Silence.
No, we wanted to try this horse on turf. We think that's where his future is, and we're happy with what happened. And we don't want to run against Easy Goer doing anything.
All right, here to present the trophy is Michael Rorty, who is the Executive Vice President of Anheuser-Busch.
Barbara, Barry, congratulations. This is the Budweiser Turf Race Trophy. It weighs about 1,000 pounds, Barry, so hang on to it. Congratulations from all of us at Budweiser. We're delighted that you won today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And, Mike, we have a second trophy to present. Budweiser also presents the Budweiser Breeders' Cup Trophy to the organization representing the country of the winning horse, in this case, the United States, and Denny Phipps, the owner of Rhythm, a winner earlier today. If you'll accept the trophy on behalf of...
Again, another Breeders' Cup Budweiser Trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate everything you've done for the sport.
All right, those are the trophy presentations from the winner's circle.
So Prized at a terrific price, 8-1, is the official winner. And here are the numbers: $19.60 for the victory, $11.40 and $8. Sierra Roberta, a long shot, paying big, $26.40 and $11.40, and Starlift takes the show money. Easy Goer being brought into the saddling area, as is Sunday Silence. And the drama of that duel, two of the great horses of this decade, will be played again in about a half an hour.
Charlie tries to steer to the outside for clear running. They approach the 8th pole. Charlie Barley emerges with the lead. Prized is coming to him with every stride. It's Prized and Charlie Barley in the final 16th. Prized on the outside, Charlie Barley on the inside. Prized is going to win the Molson Export Million. Charlie Barley second, Damascodan third, and Clever Trevor was fourth. Then we have Mercedes one.
That call, a good call by Dan Loisel at Woodbine in Toronto, the Molson Million. Eddie De La Houssaye and Prized winning on the dirt in September, Canada's $1 million race. And you just saw that combination winning the Turf Classic again in Florida here this afternoon. Still to come, it is the Classic, the showdown between Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Don't forget Me Selecto, owned by auto parts magnate Frank Stronach, the chairman of the board of Magna International, is in that race. Now, he also purchased St. Andrews along with Me Selecto, each horse for more than $1 million earlier this year. St. Andrews was the favorite in the Rothmans International, which we, of course, carried live here in Sports Weekend in October. He ran dead last in that race, so it'll be interesting to see how Mi Selecto does for Frank Strada coming up in the $3 million Classic final race of the afternoon. We hope you're enjoying coverage of the Breeders' Cup and our highlights from the '89 Canadian season as we now take you back live to Gulfstream Park in Florida.
We look live from Gulfstream Park to the paddock area. The Bald Eagle, Charlie Whittingham, the Hall of Fame trainer of Sunday Silence. He said, they just came to me and said, you want a little piece of this horse Sunday Silence? We can't seem to sell it. The best bid we could get is $17,000 on this athletic-looking colt. He said, sure, why not? I'll pitch in with you, and put in $50,000, then sold half of his half for $25,000, and happy that he was part of the company. Sunday Silence, the underdog in the Derby and the Preakness, winner on both occasions. Then as the favorite, it was Easy Goer, the underdog, who won the Belmont. It'll be quite a duel.
The Breeders' Cup Classic, a classic confrontation. From the east, representing racing's establishment, Easy Goer, and the western upstart Sunday Silence. Easy Goer has the most fashionable pedigree a horse can have, by one of the top sires, Alydar, and from the champion mare, Relaxing. Sunday Silence is not from championship stock. His sire, Halo, has been a leading sire, but he's no blue blood. Easy Goer was champion at 2 and the favorite for the Kentucky Derby, but it was the horse out of California who took home the roses. In the Preakness, Easy Goer took the lead, but Sunday Silence on the outside came to get him for a narrow victory. But Easy Goer spoiled the Triple Crown bid by Sunday Silence, breezing home by himself in the Belmont Stakes. Since the Belmont, Easy Goer has been unbeatable. He's now won 5 in a row, including the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Meanwhile, Sunday Silence has had mixed success. This is the Swap Stakes, his first start since losing the Triple Crown, and Prize nails him at the wire. This is also a rivalry between jockeys. Pat Day, who rides Easy Goer, has developed into one of the top 2 or 3 riders in the world. Well known in the Midwest, he burst upon the national scene with a winning ride on Wild Again in the rough finish of the first Breeders' Cup Classic. On Sunday Silence for the first time will be Chris McCarron, inducted into racing's Hall of Fame this year. His world record of 546 victories in 1 year still stands, and like Day, he has won Eclipse awards as top jockey. The jockey story also includes Patrick Valenzuela, the regular rider on Sunday Silence. After not showing up to fulfill his riding obligations for several days, the Santa Anita stewards ordered a drug test. After a positive finding, they set Valenzuela down for 60 days, preventing him from riding anywhere until after Christmas. So McCarron picks up the mount, hoping to duplicate his classic victory aboard Ali Sheba.
I'm very excited about it. It certainly is a legitimate rivalry. They're both very talented horses, and I'm tickled to death to be in a position where I can show everybody that Sunday Silence is a better horse.
This is also a classic trainer matchup. Shug McGahee is the hottest young trainer in the land, moving from Kentucky to New York to revive the fortunes of the famous Phipps stable. His adversary is already a legend. Hall of Fame trainer Charlie Whittingham is still going strong in his 76th year, and he thinks Sunday Silence is the best of his many great horses. After the upset to Prize in the Swaps, he equipped Sunday Silence with a shadow roll, and the colt won the Super Derby by 6 lengths.
In the Swaps in California, we come into the stretch, and he opened up 5 lengths, and he saw whether the gate had been pulled across, and they raked it not real good, and he cropped from it. But when Patrick hit him, he ducked away from being hit, and the other horse just caught him, beat him about his neck. And in the mornings, he'd duck and jump things sometimes if he saw it, so I thought a shadow roll might help him out. A little while making up my mind to put it on, because I don't like to change things too much.
Though they are rivals, McGahee and Whittingham are friendly rivals with respect for each other. The rivalry between Easy Goer's owner, Ogden Phipps, and Arthur Hancock, one of the owners of Sunday Silence, has not always been so cordial. Easy Goer is the product of decades of successful thoroughbred breeding by Ogden Phipps. His family has been in racing and breeding for most of the century. Former chairman of the Jockey Club, Ogden Phipps is one of the world's most important racing figures. He keeps his horses at the famed Claiborne Farm in Kentucky, built by Bull Hancock into the world's foremost breeding establishment. But when Bull died, the estate's executors, on the advice of Phipps, passed over Arthur Hancock, the oldest son, and awarded the presidency of the farm to Arthur's younger brother, Seth. Arthur Hancock, the admitted black sheep of the family, left Claiborne Farm then, determined to build his own operation. Arthur founded Stone Farm just down the road from Claiborne, and he built Stone Farm into an operation that did indeed rival Claiborne. He succeeded, breeding and owning 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and he thinks his dad would be proud now of both his sons.
He'd be very proud of Seth for the magnificent job he's done with Claiborne, and I think he'd be proud of me because, you know, we've been fortunate to do all right too, and I think he'd be very proud of both of us. I think both of us have done all right.
And so this race is a classic confrontation on several levels, but ultimately a match between 2 magnificent thoroughbreds who grew up on adjacent farms in Kentucky, but now duel for Horse of the Year.
And I'm in here with Shug McGahee right now, a very tense moment. Let's ask him right away. There is some concern about the track. Jack Van Berg thinks that it might be against Easy Goer. How do you feel, Shug?
I don't think so at all. I think his track's in good shape, and I think it'll be fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's throw it now to Jenny in the paddock.
And we see Charlie Whittingham putting the saddle on Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner Sunday Silence, this almost black colt. He is fresh. He's going to meet Easy Goer out of New York. A lot of people saying Easy Goer likes it his way in his state of New York, but Sunday Silence going to meet her here at Gulfstream, or meet him here at Gulfstream. Charlie has put a chamois underneath the saddle towel, and that's a piece of leather that they sometimes dampen to keep the saddle from slipping backward. Right now he is folding back the chamois and getting ready to put on the overgirth, and we hope to get a word with him. Chris McCarron is immediately to my left, and Chris, if you could step into the picture here. Chris, we'd like just a moment with you on NBC Sports. Sunday Silence going to face Easy Goer. Any last-minute thoughts for us as you prepare for this classic race?
No, I just hope we have some luck, that's all. I just hope that everybody goes out there and has a nice clean trip, and may the best horse win.
Have you discussed strategy with Charlie Whittingham yet?
Yes, I have. He's just going to tell me to let the horse run his race, and hopefully everything will work out well for us.
And you've been on the track today. Will it suit Sunday Silence?
He's run on just about any kind of track, and he's handled everything very well, so I have a lot of confidence that he's going to handle the track just fine.
All right, Chris McCarron, best of luck on Sunday Silence. And Tom, they have him just about saddled now for the Classic.
All right, Jenny, we're with Chris's brother, Greg, and Chris was fairly non-committal there, Greg. What has he said in private to you about his chances with Sunday Silence?
I think he thinks he's got a big chance. He was here about 4 or 5 days ago to breeze him, and he thought he went really well. He got more excited after talking with Charlie. The way Charlie has been pumped up for this race the last couple of days, Chris thinks he's got a real big chance.
Has he said anything to you about how he expects the race to be run tactically?
I don't think so. He expects to look for Easy Goer the whole trip, and I'm sure Pat will be doing the same with him. And I think the two of them think it's basically a 2-horse race. And I'm sure that one is going to wait for the other one to move and just not let him get away.
All right, Dick, the drama builds.
Well, the bettors agree with Greg. As you look at the current odds, and the 2 favorites head toward their duty. 1-2, Easy Goer. 9-5, the bottom horse, Sunday Silence. And look at the the third favorite is Crypto Clearance at 17-1. Gives you an idea where the money flow is going. Easy Goer and Sunday Silence getting all the attention, and the rest of the field of 8 almost forgotten in all of the drama, as the Horse of the Year undoubtedly decided by the outcome of the race you're about to see. It's worth $3 million, appropriately named the Classic.
He mentioned Frank.
The track, Pat Day aboard Easy Goer, and the number 8 ridden by Chris McCarron, Sunday Silence. And Jack Van Berg, you know the feeling best of all. 2 years ago, you had saddled Ali Shiva and Ferdinand Nipcha in a brilliant race. And last year, Horse of the Year went with your victory in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
That's right, Dick. I know how Shug feels. He's got all the confidence in the world in his horse. He's never let him down. He had a little bit of trouble in the Derby and in the Breeders' Cup, but this horse has run brilliantly lately. He's found himself. He's matured, and Shug has got a lot of confidence in him. And And this colt could be the best 3-year-old for a long time that's come around.
Well, what if Sunday Silence wins this race?
Well, I think it would have to go to Sunday Silence then, but I think Shug's got a lot of confidence, but it's still a lot of tension on you when you're coming up them. I got beaten 3 of those races.
Well, who are you picking? Who's your pick?
I don't know. It's got so exciting.
Come on, you got to pick one.
You're not putting me on the line. But I hope for all of them to get their sound.
Well, you hear the building applause as the fans here, 50,000 plus here at Gulfstream Park, acknowledge the presence of the stars of this day. Let's go to Tom Hammond.
The Outriders poised just in the tunnel, and Easy Goer threading his way down the pathway to the track there. You see the crowd on hand and the applause ringing down from the stands as Easy Goer was the first horse onto the racetrack. So here are the horses for the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, sponsored by Mobil. Number 1 is Easy Goer. If he wins today, he's champion 3-year-old, horse of the year, maybe horse of the decade. If he loses to Sunday Silence, he's only the second best 3-year-old. But since those losses in the Derby and Preakness, he seems to have reached another plateau. His 5 consecutive wins have been outstanding. Number 2 is Present Value. One of his owners, Rich Fontana, manufactures the safety rail used at many racetracks. Eddie Delahousie is riding as well as any jockey in the country right now. He was aboard Present Value in the horse's last race, a driving win in the Goodwood Handicap at Santa Anita. Number 3 is Crypto Clearance, the quintessential stretch runner. He'll be far back early. Second to Easy Goer in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, Crypto has earned over $3 million and has won 2 Grade 1 races here at Gulfstream Park. Number 4 is Me Selecto. This is the horse Chris McCarron was to ride before Pat Valenzuela was suspended. Although picking up Pinkai should suit him just fine. This horse has won 3 of his last 4 races at 1.25 miles. Number 5 is Western Playboy. This 3-year-old was rated one of the best in the country after winning the Bluegrass Stakes in the spring. He was 9-1 against Sunday Silence and Easy Goer in the Kentucky Derby, but he was ill and finished last in the Derby. It took a while for him to return to form, but he won the Pennsylvania Derby by 17 lengths. Number 6, Slew City Slew. Look for this horse to be the early pace setter. He faded to last after prompting the pace for 1 mile in last year's Classic. However, Slew City Slew was the wire-to-wire winner of the Gulfstream Park Handicap back in February. Number 7, Blushing John. This horse seems to be either very good, like a 7.5 length win in the Washington Park Handicap, or very bad, a 20-length defeat by Me Selecto in the Meadowlands Cup. Still, he usually runs well following a bad effort. Most handicappers give him the best shot of upsetting the top 2 today. Completing the field is number 8, Sunday Silence, a horse of destiny if there ever was one. Unwanted and dogged by adversity early in his life, he has settled into a tremendous racehorse. Like Easy Goer, he's never been worse than second, and if his races since the Preakness have not been as spectacular as Easy Goer's, remember the score so far: Sunday Silence 2, Easy Goer 1. And that's the field for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Greg, how do they look?
I tell you what, it's cooling off a little bit out here, and each and every one of them look terrific. I think one of the things we maybe should notice in this post parade is that Sunday Silence is going to the gate with a halter and a shank, and the shank is up over his lip and underneath the lip, and that's because he used to be very unruly. The key to this, though, is that the halter is encircling the reins, so if something was to happen, Chris would have very little control. So to alleviate that problem, they have remade this halter with a Velcro pull-off, and as soon as Chris snugs on the reins, if he was to get away from the pony, everything should be all right.
It's the feeling of a great heavyweight championship fight. The 2 outstanding contenders separated by 6 outstanding horses in their own right. The number 1 in the front, Pat Day, Easy Goer. Is that symbolic? Or will Sunday Silence, the horse that trailed so much of his career unwanted, show that he is best of all? The answer follows.
Rival was so great in beating him in the Belmont Stakes. And after he won that race in the Belmont, the momentum seems to have swung to Easy Goer. He's won 5 in a row, 3 against older runners, and he fits very well. This should be his coronation. As for some of the others, the field is rich beyond the top 2. We have runners such as Crypto Clearance, himself a $3 million winner. Then there's Canada's My Selecto, who comes off a big win at the Meadowlands last time. And then there's Present Value, a horse bred in Ontario by King Haven. It should be a great confrontation.
All right, Jim, it should be a great confrontation indeed. One of the great sporting events of the year in North America, the showdown between Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Again, the Canadian connections. Frank Stronach owns Me Selecto. He is trained by Gil Roundtree, who had such tremendous success several years ago for Jack Stafford and Stafford Farms. The jockey will be Lafitte Pinkai. And, of course, Present Value, ridden by Eddie Delahousse. Remember, again, who just rode Prize to victory in the $2 million turf race. Eddie Delahousse will ride Present Value. Present Value, Canadian bred by the Wilmots, Bud and David at King Haven, sold last year to a Californian. Quickly updating university football. In the fourth quarter, Saskatchewan Huskies out in front of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds by...
The seventh race of the Breeders' Cup, the Breeders' Cup Classic, is brought to you by Mobil Corporation, proud sponsor of the Breeders' Cup Classic.
So now the climax of the 1989 racing season and the grand finale of today's racing at Gulfstream Park. The Classic, $3 million at stake, $1.35 million to the winner over the 1.25 mile Classic American distance. Arch rivals Easy Goer and Sunday Silence have the advantage of being versatile. They have the ability to lay close to the pace, and they have the quality to finish strongly in the stretch, reasons for their success. Some feel that Chris McCarron on Sunday Silence may have a slight strategic edge in starting from the outside over Pat Day, who is in the post position 1 on Easy Goer. We'll see in that first turn, and there are the current odds. Again, Easy Goer, odds on at 3-5, and Sunday Silence at 9-5. Not much change there, but to show you how the crowd here favors those two, if you're going to take an exacta bet of 1 and 8, $5.20 will be your return on a $2 bet. 8-1 if you go the other way on the Perfecta. Sunday Silence on top. So much the favorite are these two. Well, we'll talk about them some more, but there must be someone else in this race.
Okay, you know all about the big two. Can anyone else win? Trainer Gil Roundtree thinks Me Selecto can. And he looked good in the 1.25 mile Meadowlands Cup under the lights 3 weeks ago in New Jersey. He drew clear by 2. But remember, there were no Easy Goers or Sunday Silences in this race, though Blushing John was, winding up 7th. What about Present Value? He's now won 2 in a row and 5 of his last 6. His last effort came in the Goodwood handicap at Santa Anita. Driving down the lane, he pulled away to win by just over a length. This is the same race Ferdinand used as a springboard to a Classic victory in 1987. Blushing John has looked like a world beater at times. A Classic winner in France last year at 3. He's been inconsistent in the States, beaten 20 lengths in the Meadowlands Cup. This was one of his better efforts. He was challenged in the stretch of the 1.25 mile Hollywood Gold Cup, but held on to win. In addition to the stars, there's another 3-year-old today. Western Playboy was 15th and last in the Kentucky Derby, but he had a hock infection. He's back now, tiptoeing to a 17-length win in the Pennsylvania Derby, his last start. So, can anyone beat the top 2? Nah, forget it. Make your exacta Easy Goer, Sunday Silence.
A note on Easy Goer, campaigning primarily in the East. Easy Goer, the odds on, has won only 1 time in 4 races outside of New York, and that win was here at Gulfstream Park. Sunday Silence, as you look at the winner's share of that $3 million purse and the payoff all the way down to 6th place. Sunday Silence, a sleek, athletic, kind of a wide receiver football look against the fullback linebacker type Easy Goer. You look down the path that they eventually will take in the 1.25 mile, and Pat Day perhaps thinking of that very first Breeders' Cup Classic. Remember that shot of him with his whip held high as he won the surprising victory aboard Wild Again. And you can feel the tension building here at Gulfstream Park. And Sunday Silence perhaps as close as they'll be most of the rest of the time we watch them as they load the gate. And when they break, you won't see too much distance between the two, Jack. I think they'll have their eyes on one another.
I think both of them, Dick, will stay pretty close together and watch each other. I don't think they'll let one get away. I think you'll see the 2 horses right together through the whole race and not paying much attention to the other horses in front of them. They'll watch each other.
You know, this race has never failed to deliver a thrill as Shug McGahee bides his time waiting for the start. In the first 5 runnings, 2 were decided by a head margin, 1 by only a nose. That was Ferdinand over Ali Sheba, as Jack Van Berg remembers well. You see Charlie Whittingham looking out to the track, watching Sunday Silence as he begins his walk toward the starting gate, loading into that outside post position. Greg McCarron, you can feel the tension here in the crowd. The announcers are tense. The riders have to be a little on edge. Do the horses sense it, do you think?
They sure do, and I think one of the biggest keys here is just watching both Chris and Pat just sitting as calmly as they possibly can. Chris just took his feet out of the irons, and they're both trying to get their horses just to be as relaxed, because you don't want them too geared up to go this 1.25 miles. And I think one of the funniest things I've seen was everybody had galloped back except Sunday Silence and Easy Goer, and they both walked back to the post parade. They both walked right by in front of me, and it was almost like everybody had to wait for these two. I mean, it was neat.
You know, Greg, usually you see a lot of kidding, a lot of talking between the jockeys back and forth as they warm up and start to walk to the gate. I didn't see any of that here.
This is where you really see their game faces. I mean, the only one out here, and it's kind of a funny story, is Angel Cadero. He's laughing and singing, and he's rode 10 races today. And believe it or not, he's 45 years old, but he gets pumped up for these. But the rest of them have that stern, concentrated look, and they're just ready to go.
All right, the horses now are getting ready to go behind the gate and load for this 1.25 mile Breeders' Cup Classic. Let's check in now with our other commentators for their thoughts. Trevor Denman.
Well, this really is a connoisseur's delight out here. We have Easy Goer and Sunday Silence, both of them 100% in the post parade. Easy Goer is super relaxed. There he is right there. He's got those ears pricked. He's taking everything in. Sunday Silence up on his toes. He couldn't be any better this afternoon. Shug McGahee and Charlie Whittingham might be very different in age, but that's the only difference between them. They're both master trainers and 2 artistic riders, Pat Day and Chris McCarron. We're in for one super horse race. Sharon?
Well, Trevor, I've been trying to figure out how different these horses look from the spring when they ran their 3 great races against each other. And it seems like both of them have put on weight and muscle and have grown up a little bit. Sunday Silence perhaps a little less so than Easy Goer, who has filled out tremendously. I'd be curious to know about the weight that he's put on. Both horses look wonderful. They both sweated a little, but neither one is upset. So they look equal at this point, at least in terms of looks. Jenny?
And if you're not a chalk player, you'll want to find a price here, and maybe Crypto Clearance, currently at 18 to 1, has a shot, because remember, this horse is back on Lasix and he loves Gulfstream Park. He's done very well here, Crypto Clearance. Also, Western Playboy seems to be back to the form that he was in last spring, that won in the Bluegrass Stakes and the Jim Beam, and Western Playboy number 5 is currently 16 to 1. So if you think you can beat these 2 heavy hitters, you've got some big prices in the 3 Crypto Clearance and Western Playboy. Dick, it's getting awfully exciting down here.
Well, and it's really exciting for those closest to these equine stars. And we see the shots of the owners and the trainers, but those that work their horses in the morning and have so much at stake and care so much and live, they're the exercise riders and grooms that follow Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. And it doesn't really matter what the price is and what the tributes will be, or whether or not they're able to go cash a ticket, as so many else might be concerned right now. It's just that these are animals that they dearly love and are rooting as hard as anyone.
Dick, they live with those horses night and day and spend all their time with them. And when you say they dearly love them, they love them. And, you know, some will go home happy and some will go home very disappointed.
Tom?
You had a brief look at Arthur and Stacy Hancock, who own Sunday Silence, at least own a third of him. The horses begin to load into the gate. Easy Goer is in, followed by Present Value and Crypto Clearance. B Selecto will move in, followed by Western Playboy. No problems at the gate. $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, the world's richest race, the race of the decade. Easy Goer against Sunday Silence. Tom Durkin.
It's post time for the 6th Breeders' Cup Classic. Blushing John is in line. Sunday Silence, the Derby and Preakness winner, will move into post position number 8. Poised in the gate, Belmont winner, Easy Goer in post position 1. They're standing in line, and And they're off. Sunday Silence breaks alertly. Easy Goer was off a step slow toward the inside. Slew City Slew, Blushing John, and Present Value. And they're passing us now for the first time. Slew City Slew is out to take the early lead now. And he's opened up a quick lead here of 2.5 lengths. Blushing John is second down the outside. Present Value is third. Sunday Silence is rating in fourth position. He's 6 lengths off the lead. Me Selecto is seventh. 4 lengths back to Easy Goer. He is 10 lengths off the lead of Slew City Slew as they move into the first turn. And the trailers are Crypto Clearance and Western Playboy. Slew City Slew, and he zipped the opening quarter in 22 2/5 seconds. A brazen display of early speed in this 1.25 mile classic. Blushing John is tracking him as they make their way onto the backstretch now. Sunday Silence poised on the outside third. Present Value to his inside. Then Me Selecto. Easy Goer is yet to do his best running. He is still 9 lengths off the lead of Slew City Slew. He's 5 lengths behind Sunday Silence, and now he's beginning to roll. They've run a half mile in 46 1/5 seconds. Slew City Slew weakening on the lead. Blushing John has been tracking him all the way. Sunday Silence bracing for the oncoming power of Easy Goer, who's right at his neck, and the stage is set with 3 furlongs to run in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Blushing John taking the lead, 3/8 of a mile out. It's Blushing John in front. Sunday Silence on the outside, gearing up now. He's left Easy Goer 2.5 lengths behind. They're coming to the top of the stretch, and Blushing John is under a hand ride. He leads by 1.5 lengths. Sunday Silence, a threatening presence on the outside. Easy Goer is set down, and he's put to a fierce drive. Coming to the final furlong, Sunday Silence surges to the front. Blushing John trying to fight back. Easy Goer with one final acceleration, and Sunday Silence holds on, and he wins by a desperate neck. Easy Goer was too late, not enough to win it, and it was Sunday Silence in a racing epic.
Oh my! Sunday Silence and Easy Goer giving this record crowd all that it could have wanted. So often in the big matches, one might be disappointed, but not today. 2 great horses finishing at the wire a half length behind, and Sunday Silence takes the rubber match. 3 out of 4 from this colt that wouldn't be bought. It was for sale for $30,000 twice, and no one would pay $20,000. And today has won $1,350,000 in this race and has $4.6 million third all time. And Chris McCarron, congratulations. McCarron catching his breath as well, I'm sure, on the backside. Chris, did you have any idea as you came to the wire how close Easy Goer was?
Yes, sir, I did. I gave a little peek at the 16 pole, and I saw a couple of chestnut legs there, and I knew he was coming, but he ranged up on my outside, I think, at the half-mile pole, the 3.5, and I was very comfortable with where I was, and this colt, when I set him down, turned for home, he kicked it in really nice.
Blushing John gave you all the work you wanted.
Blushing John, I had a feeling he'd be tough because he ran some impressive races at Hollywood Park last summer and just didn't fire the other night at the Meadowlands, and I wasn't letting him out of my sight, I tell you that.
Well, the fate of racing luck, plays funny favorites today. Chris McCarron, and you've had your share of bad luck today. You get the opportunity to ride this horse for the first time. If you could capture this race in a phrase, what would it be?
Well, it was, as I said before, I wish I could have gotten this mount under better circumstances. I'm happy to be here, and I wish all the best for Pat Valenzuela. He's a good friend and a good kid, and I wish nothing but the best for him.
Well, the $3 million Classic has been won by a classic pair. McCarron aboard Sunday Silence and Easy Goer and Pat Day. A fighting second, not there quite in time. We'll get the reaction of jockeys, owners, and riders when we return to Gulfstream Park, where Sunday Silence has made his bid for Horse of the Year.
Afternoon, Sunday Silence and Easy Goer, as expected, a 2-horse show. Chris McCarron riding the winner for the 2nd year in a row. He was on board Ali Sheba 1 year ago. A tremendous race, and let's take you back live to Gulfstream Park at Hallandale.
Saturday cheers for Sunday silence in Florida, and it's a Breeders' Cup Classic time record, the fastest at this mile and a quarter in the Breeders' Cup has been run 2 minutes flat, and the 5th for Sunday silence hand. Chris McCarron with a final victory salute as he heads back into the jockey quarters. Well, let's go back to the start of the race, and it may have been lost in the gate as Easy Goer slow getting out. Tom?
Well, you remember last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile when Easy Goer was upset. He was away a little tardily and was pinched back. He does come away a step slow here, but in a 1.25 mile race, he's got plenty of time to get position. And Pat Day now has him running down through the stretch for the first time. He knows that he has a lot of time, and as he probably expected, Slew City Slew has passed him to go on to take the lead. Right now, Sunday Silence, number 8, has just passed him there on the outside. And frankly, during the running of the race, I was a little surprised that Easy Goer was as far away from Sunday Silence. Sunday Silence breaks a little bit to the outside. Chris McCarron steadies him, and then he's put on course. He'll slowly angle his way over to the inside to save a little ground as Blushing John goes on up to lay a little closer to the pace. So right now, McCarron just letting Sunday Silence gallop along, and right behind him is Easy Goer. As the race continued, Sunday Silence would begin to edge his way up, and it seemed to me that Easy Goer was a little slow in doing that. Right now, you see Present Value on the inside of Sunday Silence as they head into the first turn. Slew City Slew setting the early fractions, and Blushing John is second. Chris McCarron just letting the horse run on his own here. Hasn't asked him to run at all yet. Just getting him to relax in the early part of this 1.25 mile race, running right alongside Present Value. Meantime, Easy Goer not in the picture. He's let Sunday Silence get a good distance away from him as they straighten out for the run down the backstretch. Slew City Slew cutting out some pretty swift early fractions, 22-2, 46-1, and McCarron, if he senses that, knows that Slew City Slew is going to be no problem. He's going to come back to the field. He does have his eye on Blushing John, number 7, who is laying in second place and has dead aim on Slew City Slew as they approach the turn for home. Now, Easy Goer, number 1, moves outside Sunday Silence, and I thought from here on the two would probably be within a length of each other the rest of the way in the race. But Sunday Silence will have the most acceleration here, and you see him begin to pull away from Easy Goer and set sail for the leaders. Blushing John has taken the lead, and Sunday Silence now passes the tiring Slew City Slew as they come to the top of the stretch. You just saw Angel Cordero look behind him to see if anything was coming, and yes, indeed, Sunday Silence is. Now into the lane, Blushing John under the whip on the inside. Sunday Silence on the outside, and Easy Goer surprisingly has a lot to make up. Sunday Silence now has the lead. McCarron cocks his whip. He sneaks a peek under his arm. There, he looked at Easy Goer. He knows Easy Goer is gaining, but he's got enough horse to last. Trevor.
And I'm standing here right now with Pat Day. Pat, you appear to have a little bit of bad luck just after the start.
Well, as we come across the, come out of the chute there, my horse looked at the gap and acted like he had a tendency to kind of drift in towards it, and I had to grab him, straighten him up. It wasn't anything dramatic, but cost us some position at that point.
When you first started to ask him just inside the 3/8 pole, it looked like it took a little while to respond, did he?
Yes, it did. We had gotten up into contention in a good spot, I felt like, down the backside, just a neck or half a length off of Sunday Silence, and was content to be there. When they went ahead and started moving, when Sunday Silence started moving, leaving the 3/8 pole, I wanted to go with him. And my horse, as you said, was just a little bit slow getting started. Once he got started, he come running big, and it was a good horse race, a magnificent effort on Easy Goer's part, and certainly a good performance for Sunday Silence.
Gentlemen, and a very gracious looter, Pat Day. Let's throw it up to Dick.
Well, as we hinted, perhaps that outside post position for Sunday Silence was the difference. Went off at an even 2-1 and paid $6. Easy Goer $2.20, $2.10. Blushing John, a game run, gets $3 for show. And Charlie Whittingham, the winning trainer, will be right back.
The thing about horsemen is if you're a pessimist, you're not going to get very far, partner.
How does he rank among all the great horses you've trained?
Well, he's much the best horse I've trained now. But he's done more than any horse I've ever trained, and he isn't through yet. He's just getting going.
Chris McCarron, I'll sneak over here and ask you a question. You had a pretty confident ride. Did you have an eye on Easy Goer all the way?
Well, I think that was him that ranged up on the outside of me at the 3.5. I don't know exactly, but I looked back and saw a couple of chestnut legs, and I figured it had to be him. And so I just went ahead and moved my hands on the colt a little bit, and he responded very well, and he kind of got away from that horse on the outside. And I didn't want to let Blushing John get too far away from me either, because he ran some powerful races at Hollywood last summer, and he impressed me.
Great ride, Chris. Now for the presentation, let's go to Alan E. Murray, chairman of the sponsoring Mobil Corporation. Alan, step in here.
On behalf of Mobil, I'm delighted to be part of this great event when we obviously just discovered who Horse of the Year was, don't we? I mean, there's no more doubt, is there? It's who's Horse of the Year.
I don't think so myself.
That was a great race. Absolutely, truly magnificent. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a unanimous decision down here. It is a Horse of the Year to Sunday Silence after the win in the Classic. We'll be back to Gulfstream Park in
Racing Stables, headed by Jeff Siegel, is one of the most successful ownership syndicators in thoroughbred racing. Siegel and his partners, including Barry Irwin and Jamie Schloss, put together general partnerships with California residents and so far have syndicated 30 racehorses, with 80% finding their way to the winner's circle. Their superstars of 1989 include Prized, who won the $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf. Prized also won the Molson Million in Canada. Another headliner early in the year was Marshall Law, who was the upset winner of the $1 million Santa Anita Handicap. All total this year, Clover Racing Stable horses have earned in excess of $3 million. The most famous trio of owners in American racing in 1989, Arthur B. Hancock III, the master of Stone Farm, Charlie Whittingham, Hall of Fame trainer, and Dr. Ernest Gaylord Jr., a retired surgeon. Together, they campaigned the year's leading money earner and top Horse of the Year candidate, Sunday Silence, winner of over $4.5 million in 9 races this year, with 7 firsts and 2 seconds. Victories included the Santa Anita Derby, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the $1 million Super Derby, and the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Hancock, Whittingham, and Gaylord, the owners of Sunday Silence. Ogden Phipps, one of the patriarchs of the American turf. The 81-year-old Phipps has been leading his thoroughbreds into the winner's circle for more than 50 years. He has owned 8 champions, including 1966 Horse of the Year Buck Passer, Impressive, Vitriolic, Queen of the Stage, Number to Count, Relaxing, the undefeated champion Older Filly of 1988 Personal Ensign, and last year's 2-year-old champion colt Easy Goer. In 1989, the famed black and cherry red silks went to the winner's circle 27 times in 82 starts, with earnings of more than $5 million. His stable star, the champion colt Easy Goer, with 8 wins and 3 seconds in 11 races, for earnings of more than $3.8 million. Easy Goer won 7 Grade 1 stakes, including the Belmont, and a pair of $1 million races, the Travers and the Jockey Club Gold Cup. The 1989 nomination is the 2nd straight for Ogden Phipps as Thoroughbred Racing's Owner of the Year. Frank and Jan Whittam from Leota, Kansas, owned and campaigned racing's best mare of 1989, Bayacoa. The Argentine-bred, trained by Ron McAnally and ridden by Lafitte Pinkai Jr., dominated the distaff division with 9 wins and 1 second in 11 starts, earnings this year of almost $1.4 million. The Whittams showed their confidence in their star when they supplemented Bayacoa to the Breeders' Cup distaff at a cost of $200,000. It was the mare's crowning moment as she held off Gorgeous to win the $1 million race by a length and a half in a stakes record equaling time of 1:47.2, proving to everyone what the Whittams already knew, that Bayacoa was 1989's Queen of American Racing. The nominees for the 1989 Caesars Palace Sportive Kings Award for Owner of the Year in Thoroughbred Racing: Clover Racing Stable, the Sunday Silence team of Arthur Hancock, Charlie Whittingham, and Dr. Ernest Gaylord, Ogden Phipps, and Frank and Jan Whittam. America's Choice, the Sunday Silence trio for Owners of the Year: Arthur Hancock, who bought the colt back at 2 different sales, Dr. Ernest Gaylord, the retired surgeon, and the Hall of Fame trainer, Charlie Whittingham.
After accepting their Baccarat Crystal Horse Trophy, Arthur Hancock demonstrated his songwriting and singing skills with his own salute to Sunday Silence.
Here comes Sunday Silence again.
We begin our look at the great races of 1989 on the first Saturday in May, featuring the much anticipated first meeting between Easy Goer from the east and Sunday Silence from the west.
It's still Houston in front by 3 parts of a length. Northern Wolf second. Here comes Sunday Silence on the outside. The entry of Easy Goer and awe-inspiring next as they straighten away in the stretch. Sunday Silence, but Pat Valenzuela comes over, has little contact with Northern Wolf. On the inside, Houston is dropping out of it. Dancel is still tough. On the inside, then comes Easy Goer and awe-inspiring, but with a 16th of a mile to go. And here comes Sunday Silence through the stretch, coming to the finish of the Derby. Sunday Silence wins this Derby by 2 lengths. It's a photograph.
From America's best-known day of racing to its biggest, and the $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf, as the 3-year-old colt Prized tries grass for the first time.
A half-mile to run on the turf. Hilda Shipra is still there. Caltech is now roused, and Rene Douglas asking him for run now. Green Barb is third. Price to pull out. He's dropping back and forth. Scenic is nowhere to go in between horses. Sierra Roberto and Starlift is kicking in on the outside. Lady in Silver toward the rail. Melisius is picking up momentum. El Senor is still 9 lengths off the lead, and he's beginning to move for the back of the pack. And Caltech forges to the front as they turn for home. Hilda Shipra is put to a full-out drive to try to stay with them. Prize down the outside is now third. Sierra Roberta is coming with her run now, and here she comes. Caltech desperately holding on. Prize is surging. Sierra Roberta toward the inside. Bahira late run, a driving finish in the turf, and here's the wire, and it is Prize. A desperate nose, very close.
One of the year's biggest upsets occurred in one of the year's biggest races. It's the $1 million Santa Anita Handicap, and the favorites are nowhere to be found.
They head to the quarter pole. This long shot Team Try is kicking on with it. Marshall Law and Stylish winner. 3 long shots, 1, 2, 3 as they swing for home in the big one. Cherokee Colonies on the outside. Nasser Al Arab caught very wide into the turn. Super Diamonds well beat. They coming down to the 8th pole. Marshall Law, a huge upset is on the cards. It's Marshall Law and Martin Pedrosa passing the 16th pole clear. And here it is, Marshall Law to win the Santa Anita Handicap.
We'll have more action from the 19th annual Sport of Kings in just a minute, but the fact that it's the 19th annual reminds me that the Sport of Kings is almost as old as Caesar's Palace itself. Now, I stayed here the 2nd month that this place was open back in 1966. It was a palace then, and it's even bigger now. Now, let's take a look at the history of Caesars and the present.
Trainer of the year. Now, according to the latest count, there are over 1,200 licensed thoroughbred trainers. I got this information from the American Psychiatric Department. These are the dedicated men and women who spend every waking moment taking care of the racehorse, and every sleeping moment, and there aren't many of those, worrying about the health of that racehorse. They are the quarterbacks of our sport. They probably get too much credit for a win. They certainly seem to get too much blame for a defeat. Here are the 4 that are the best of the Sport of Kings top conditioners for '89.
Neil Drysdale, the 41-year-old conditioner, received his training from 2 of the sport's best, Lucian Lauren and Charlie Whittingham. Since opening a public stable in 1983, Drysdale horses have won over 40 stakes and average better than $2.5 million per year in earnings. In 1989, he led the Santa Anita meeting with an incredible win percentage of almost 40%, nearly 67% in the money. Drysdale has been at his best on racing's richest day, with 10 Breeders' Cup starters, bringing home 3 firsts and 2 seconds. This year in the distaff, he conditioned the top filly Gorgeous back from a 4-month layoff for a strong 2nd-place finish, and then sent Prized out to make his first grass start ever in the world's richest turf race, the $2 million Budweiser Breeders' Cup Turf, where he pulled off the upset victory. D. Wayne Lucas. Simply, he sets the standards. Team Lucas includes a coast-to-coast racing operation at 16 different tracks, some 280 horses in training, and over 300 employees. After conditioning 23 quarter-horse champions, Lucas began his thoroughbred career in 1978. 1989 will mark his 7th straight earnings title, and he looks to be on a pace to break his own single-season record stakes total of 92. The Eclipse Award winner of 1985, 86, and 87 has trained 11 year-end champions through 1988 to tie for the all-time lead with Woody Stevens. Steinlen's win in this year's Breeders' Cup Mile gave Team Lucas their 10th Breeders' Cup Day victory, the all-time record. Shug McGahee, private trainer for the powerful New York-based Phipps stable. The 38-year-old Kentucky native won the 1988 Eclipse Award